We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this show, this rebel outpost rebel show in college football land. Hit the dollar sign, make a comment, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I can. Welcome into the studio that sits on the very corner. Yes, it does. The very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway in Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. PATC community, do not be afraid to be a legend. In the chat room with the comments or with your phone calls later in the show. The little general and I got back a little earlier than we expected. I tell you, we stayed at the strangest hotel we've ever stayed at. Not gonna name it. Southern Minnesota. Very old hotel. I gotta tell you, it was very, very strange. we could not figure out where we were going. We could not get, the pool was on the 11th floor, and the only way you could get to the pool if you went to the 10th floor and then went up a couple flight of stairs. But there was signs at almost every elevator that said elevator for pool access on every floor, but it wouldn't go to the pool. The lobby wasn't the lobby. The level M was the lobby. The lobby wasn't the lobby. It wasn't where you checked in, checked out. It was confusing. I spent most of the time on my small vacation getting lost in a big old hotel. The pool is fantastic once you find it. Now, there is accommodations for those who need to go, who are in a wheelchair bound, to get up to this elevated pool. But how do they get to the floor when there's no elevator that gets to the floor? The strangest hotel I've ever been in. Now, I've already got a problem here. I got this. Let me show you guys something. Let me show you something. You see that volume? You see that right there? I cannot get rid of that. Let me know. I've been trying to get rid of this. Let me know what the trick is to get rid of this volume symbol here. Let me know in the chat, because I have not been able to get rid of it. So that is your first duty. That Peek Around the Corner needs to let me know how to get rid of that. I cannot get rid of it. See, I can't. It's Bates Motor Inn. No. Did you ever find the pool? Yes, I did. And I did send out a picture of it on my X account. Beautiful pool. Beautiful pool. Up on the highest floor. And then there's a glass ceiling. You can look out. We were watching the moon while I was floating, while the fat guy from Minnesota was floating on his back. It was great. It was great. But it is a very strange old hotel. The Little General had a great time. We had Italian food one night. We had Irish food the next night. It was pretty good. I don't know. Very, very, very strange. Let me know how to get rid of, seriously, if anybody knows on a Mac computer how to get rid of this symbol here. No matter what I do with the volume, it just doesn't go away. If anybody knows how to get rid of this, let me know, because we're going to have to deal with it for the whole show, and that's a problem. Normally that would not be a problem, but we got to go into some documents. We got to go into some documents, and the only way we can go into the documents so you can see them is I got to put them up on this big screen. Anyways, I don't want to get into it, but all right. So I can't even read I can't even read. I don't think it has anything to do with my headphones. It was corned beef, cabbage, potatoes, mashed peas, corned beef and cabbage. I did not have the shepherd's pie. Okay, so once somebody tells me how to get rid of that volume symbol, I will do that. Look, this weekend there was spring football games. There was a whole bunch of them. I kept my eye out on reports, saw some of the highlights. Sounds like Cam Ward had himself a great game, over 300 yards, a couple touchdown passes. Cam Ward is the real deal. I'm glad he came back for college 1 year. It's all going to be about if he protects the football in the pocket. Everything else he's got figured out. Everything else, if he had protection in the pocket figured out, he'd be in the NFL draft this spring. This coming up. So Cam Ward, they're excited down in Miami. They should be excited. They should be excited, even though they don't have running back Henry Parrish. By the way, the portal Mania happens on Tuesday. The rumors are flying everywhere. Damian Martinez, the Oregon State running back, is he going to go to Miami? Or is he going to go to Michigan State? Damian Martinez, a great running back, Oregon State. All the rumors is that he's told his coaching staff he's going in the portal officially April 16th. Miami, Michigan State. So we're going to be covering the portal heavy this week, obviously. Ryan Thomas. This is a request for you to sing Hotel California by the Eagles, Greg. Just remember, you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. I'm surprised we found our way out of there. Even paying for the parking was... Everything was very strange there. I'm not going to name it. I don't want to, the people who work there, they don't need to hear me complain on this Outpost Rebel college football channel. The wife did have, thank you, Ryan Thomas, for your incredible generosity to this channel. I thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. Hotel California, I'm going to have to practice that one. I know the song. I know I've sung it a few times back in the day, way back in the day, but I'm going to have to practice that one, and I'll see what I can do, Mr. Ryan Thomas. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Jameson, the wife had a little bit of the Jameson in her barbecue sauce. Jameson barbecue sauce, the restaurant has their own Jameson barbecue sauce. So she got a little bit of that in her chicken wings. So again, if anybody knows how I can get rid of this ridiculous volume here, this symbol, let me know. I cannot get rid of it, no matter what I do. Now I've made it worse. So, let me know if you know how I get rid of that. A Mac computer. Holy smokes. Okay. Aaron Nolan impressed me yesterday. Aaron Nolan. I heard good things about Devin Brown. Will Howard did okay. I didn't really hear anything about Aaron Nolan. I didn't even know he played. Honestly, I did not read one thing about Aaron Nolan. Hit the mute button on the top row. I just did. Yeah, it's just, nothing's happening. We're just going to have to play with it, I guess. It's going to be in people's way, though. I'm fearing. I fear that it's going to be bothering people when I go into the documents. We're going to do the best we can. Corey, thank you so much for your gift membership. Thank you so very much for your generosity. I do appreciate it. Once again, Corey, holy smokes. You are hereby Cloak and Dagger Knighted. Once again, Corey. And John Smith, because of the generosity of Coy, you've been gifted a gift membership here at Cloak and Dagger Early Peak. Thank you so much. You are hereby knighted, Cloak and Dagger. So I can do that. You see that? Well, no, you can't see that. Hold on. I can do that. I can put an X through it. All right, well, we're going to have to play with it. We're going to have to go through it and see what happens. Okay, that's a weird glitch. Yes, it is. And it's happened before, but it's never happened on a live show. Just restarting the computer should fix it up. I know that, but then I lose everybody. I can't lose everybody. So we're going to have to go with it. Thank you, Ryan Thomas, for your generosity. Thank you, Coy, for your gift memberships. I do appreciate it, guys. So, okay. Let's get to it. We have a whole bunch of rumors. We can get to that later. We can talk about the rumors as who's going in the portal. We can talk about the spring football games. It sounds like people are pretty excited about Cam Ward. People excited about what happened with the Ohio State Buckeyes, except for maybe their offensive line. They're excited about, of course, Henderson and Judkins, their running backs. What else did I see? I took some notes. Hold on. Haynes King, look good, Georgia Tech. People are excited about Haynes King. Castellanos, Boston College. And then we have the question I put out on Twitter on Saturday. about who's going to win the Pittsburgh Panthers quarterback job. You know, they had to transfer Eli Holstein, but he's going against Nate Yarnell, who's the incumbent who played a little bit last year, who looked pretty impressive for the Panthers. So is it going to be the hot shot transfer, Holstein, or is it going to be the incumbent? So a lot of action in the ACC yesterday in spring football games. And Keandre Lambert-Smith, the wide receiver from Penn State, Lambert-Smith, all signals are that he has basically walked out of spring football for the Penn State Nittany Lions, and he's going in the transfer portal. Now I got to tell you, he checked out a little bit at the end of last year. And I know I got a whole bunch of Penn State fans in the PATC community. Let me know what is going on with Lambert Smith. Very good wide receiver. Really hasn't hit. Let me. Thank you, Big Dog Daddy. Appreciate it. Welcome back, Rebel Leader. Thank you for your generosity. Unbelievable generosity, Mr. Husky. I appreciate it. Lambert Smith. Let's see here. Lambert Smith, 53 catches last year, 673 yards. He gets another year because of this COVID season. I know he's been hot and cold, hot and cold. He got hot last year, then he faded at the end of the year. But what is up with Lambert Smith going in the portal? This was going to be the year. Drew Aller, Lambert Smith was going to have a big year and then go into the NFL draft next year. So there is going to be a lot of surprises, man. Going to be a lot of surprises. And we are going to be covering it all as best we can. Now, let's get to the story. Tomorrow, Mecklenburg County, North Carolina. We know for sure, 100% we know, and doggone it, we got that symbol. We're just going to have to do the best we can with it. Mecklenburg County Atlantic Coast Conference versus the Board of Trustees, Florida State University. We know, having considered the motions to seal, this was an order given a while ago. In parties' briefs, I think this was, I believe this was April 5th. This order was April 5th. Having considered the motions to seal, the parties' brief in support of, in opposition to the motions to seal, the appropriate evidence of record on the motions to seal, and the arguments of counsel at the hearing on the motions to seal, the court, in the exercise of its discretion and for the reasons set forth below, hereby grants in part and denies in part the ACC's amended motion to seal. So in other words, the ACC was trying to get everything sealed up. The ACC and ESPN agreement, that document, 160-page documents. Remember, none of it is in public view. Well, the ACC got most of it sealed up. Most of it we're not going to see. You and I are not going to see it. The court, the judge is going to see all of it. Judge Bledsoe. But they're going to have to unredact some of the redaction, if that's even a word. They're going to have to show us something in those documents. The judge said there are certain parts in his order that the ACC is going to have to show everybody. And they got to get it done by the end of April 15th. On or before April 15th. Tonight is April 14th. Tomorrow is April 15th. So sometime tomorrow, when this comes down, we're going to be going live and we're going to be covering it live. Now, what parts does the ACC have to open up inside the ACC-ESPN media agreement? Maybe not, probably not the real important stuff that we want to see. But let's go through it. Let's go through, if you give me a moment here, let's go through the parts that are redacted officially right now, but they're going to have to open up they're going to have to open up tomorrow, sometime tomorrow. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Oh, man. This is a bad night for that symbol to come up on me. Tell you that right now. Holy cow. Anyways, this is the first part. These agreements, this redacted here, this part has to be seen tomorrow by the public. These agreements included an amended multimedia agreement in 2014, which was superseded by restated and amended multimedia agreement in 2016, and an agreement establishing the ACC network as a joint venture. Under these agreements, ESPN has paid and continues to pay the conference a blank. The conference then allocates these blank to its member institutions, including Florida State. So it looks like it's going to give an amount of money. Under these agreements, ESPN has paid and continues to pay the conference probably it's going to say a total of, and then an amount. And there's more. Paragraph 43, or line 43, line 44. In 43, again, all these redactions here, what I'm showing you in this show tonight is what has to show up tomorrow for us to read. Everything that is redacted, Judge Bledsoe, Mecklenburg County has ordered the ACC that this has to be now open to the public for us to read. Everything that's redacted, which I'm showing you tonight, per the order of Judge Bledsoe, Mecklenburg County. Number 43, in exchange, ESPN agreed to pay the conference a blank, beginning in blank, which would blank the 2010 multimedia agreement. Line 44. In 2012, through an amendment and extension agreement, the ACC and ESPN agreed to extend the term of the 2000 multimedia agreement until 2027, increasing the blank to be paid such that by the end of the term, ESPN would pay the ACC for distributions to its member institutions blank annually. Okay. This is why, even though we're not getting the steak tomorrow, even though we're not getting what Clemson and Florida State wants to have opened up to everybody to see. But the judge has it. Judge Bledsoe has it. Cooper has it. The new judge that was just assigned, I forget his name, Gravely, Judge Gravely in Pickens County. You're going to be hearing the name Judge Gravely a whole lot here in the next couple weeks. Judge Gravely, he was assigned, Judge Gravely in Pickens County, he was assigned while I was on vacation with the Little General, and I passed on that information to you all on X at Flug Empire. Judge Gravely has been assigned. He graduated from the South Carolina School of Law. South Carolina School of Law, Judge Gravely. I forget the gentleman's first name. Even though we're not getting the steak tomorrow, I still like the fact that Judge Bledsoe has ordered the ACC to show us more, to show us something. In 2012 now, an extension agreement, the ACC and ESPN agreed to extend the term of the 2000 multimedia agreement until 2027, increasing the blank to be paid such by the end of the term ESPN would pay the ACC. Now that wasn't the most current agreement, right? The agreement they all signed in 2016 extended the media rights agreement, extended the GOR to 2036. This was the previous one, but I still would like to see it. I would like to see what ESPN promised, what the ACC promised, ESPN and ACC, what considerations was given to Florida State and all the ACC schools for them to sign the GOR, sign the media rights agreement to 2027. I want to know what's behind this black here, and then I want to see if it matches to what they got paid. Did they get in consideration what they were promised? Florida State and the other ACC schools. Okay? Hold on, we'll get to the next page here. We got a lot more to go through. There is okay. This is another line that that the ACC is going to have to show sometime tomorrow. The 2014 Second Amendment to the Multimedia Agreement. Line 70. Of the media rights agreement between ACC and ESPN. Relying on the exclusive grant of rights, the conference negotiated the Second Amendment to the 2010 Multimedia Agreement. It went into effect June 2014. In addition to incorporating the changes in the ACC's membership, this amendment also increases the blank. By the end of the 2026-27, the total fees paid to the conference under this agreement would have been in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So whatever behind that blank has to be revealed tomorrow. Okay, now it gets a little bit more interesting. Line 73. Following the ACC's acceptance of Florida State's grant of rights in 2013, and the implementation of the Second Amendment to the 2010 Multimedia Agreement in 2014, Florida State received its pro rata share of the blank payments from ESPN, totaling blank of dollars. At no point did Florida State reject the distributions it received or contest the legality of the grant of rights it executed that made the Second Amendment to the 2010 Multimedia Agreement. So this was redacted for some reason. It has to not be redacted starting tomorrow. Now, this is where it gets real interesting. This is where it really pops here. 78. As part of these agreements, ESPN agreed to extend and increase the blank blank until the establishment and launch of the ACC network, which ultimately took place in 2019. On July 21st, 2016, the parties executed an amended and restated ACC-ESPN multimedia agreement and an ACC-ESPN network agreement. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments, media rights payments, and revenues from the ACC network. This is what the ACC did not want us to see. This is the part, look, throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive this much amount to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments, media right payments, and revenues from the ACC network. What is that first payment that's being blanked out? You got media rights payments, you got revenues from the ACC network. Why is that first part blanked out? What type of payments is being blanked out there? Remember, this is July 21st, 2016. This is the current contract. Throughout the duration of these agreements, it doesn't say throughout the duration of these agreements going to 2036, does it? Does it? It doesn't say 2036, does it? We know when it starts, July 21st, 2016. Throughout the duration of these agreements, to 2036 or whenever ESPN declines the option, right? Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments. Why was that redacted? Line 78. What type of payments is that? Why would they possibly redact that? Does anybody have an idea? That throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive, and we're going to find out what that number is, to distribute to its 15 members, including Notre Dame, in the form of blank payments, media right payments, and revenues from the ACC network. Why did they blank out a type of payment? Okay, we'll get back to that. No question about it. I want to see if somebody has a good idea. We're not done yet. We're not done. This is coming out tomorrow. Well, this will all come out in Florida. It probably will. But this is coming out tomorrow. What type of payment did they blank out? What is this? We're going through the redactions that Judge Bledsoe has ordered the ACC to unredact. And the deadline for the ACC to unredact is by the end of the day tomorrow. So that's why we're going through this. We're giving everybody a peek around the corner. Let it marinate overnight as we get into tomorrow. As this gets released, we'll see what it is. We'll go through it all again. The last one we went through I think is an important one, but we're not quite done yet. And this is another one. This is on line 110. According to Judge Bledsoe's ruling, what you see redacted, what I'm about to show you, has to be shown in public view by the end of the day tomorrow. Tomorrow, Monday, April 15th. Under the grant of rights, the amended grant of rights, and the ESPN agreements, Florida State's athletics experiences unprecedented success. Remember, this is in the filing that the ACC put out in regards to the ESPN agreement, to the ACC-ESPN agreement. 110. But in this filing, they wanted redaction. But what's under the redaction has to be revealed by tomorrow. Since the execution of the amended grant of rights, the entry into 2016 multimedia agreement, and extension of the option. Let me read that again, ladies and gentlemen. 110. Since the execution of the amended grant of rights, the entry into the 2016 multimedia agreement, that was the last one they did, 2016 to 2036, and extension of the option, the establishment of the ACC network, and the payment of a blank by ESPN, Florida State has received more than blank, and the ACC as a whole has received more than blank. So, I'm going to read that one more time. Since the execution of the amended grant of rights, this is what the ACC is telling the courts, the entry in the 2016 multimedia agreement, an extension of the option, the establishment of the ACC network, and the payment of there's some sort of payment that the ACC, ESPN does not want us to see. I don't know what it is. And the payment of a blank by ESPN, Florida State has received more than whatever that money amount is, and the ACC has received more than whatever money amount that is. Again, we are not getting the ESPN trade secrets tomorrow. Bledsoe ruled against that. Bledsoe mostly ruled in favor of the ACC when it came to motion to seal. But in those parts that we just went through, we're going to go through it again because a lot of people just joined us. Those parts cannot be sealed up any longer. Those parts have to be revealed. And we're not getting the state tomorrow, but we may get we may get some uncomfortable numbers. We may get some information. There's a reason why anyways, we're going to find out. We're going to find out tomorrow. I just thought we should go through it tonight, the night before. Ryan Willie, the evil badger, I still think they'll keep it redacted. They can't. They can't. Not those parts. Not those parts. They cannot keep it redacted. Let me show you the proof of it. Let me show you the proof. Hopefully this shows up here. That doesn't look very good. See, I can't get it to. This is part of the court denies. Let's see here. The court grants the ACC's motion to seal for most of the exhibits. But the court denies the ACC's amended motion to seal the monetary amount in paragraph 64, the complaint, paragraph 73, paragraphs 14, 41, 42, 69. So what we did is we went through the order, got help from Mr. Justin Lucas, who's absolutely fantastic. And we went through the parts that they're going to have to open it up. ACC. Next stop, NRT. Thank you so much for your super chat. Cooper takes off invisibility cloak in Discovery. You know what? That very well could be. I mean, Judge C. Cooper already said on April, in the first go around, on April 9th, Cooper made an offhanded remark saying, this is the state of Florida, sunshine law. He said, Judge Cooper says, I don't know any state agency, any public institution that has a contract in which that contract is not out in the open for people to see. I'm paraphrasing it. But that's what Judge C. Cooper said. It was not a ruling. He wasn't ruling on it. But I think there's a lot to fear from ESPN and ACC when it comes to Judge Cooper on being able to seal all that up. Anthony Carlson once again, holy smokes. Unbelievable generosity. Thank you so much, Sparty. Anthony Carlson, who's sitting there with Aiden Childs as quarterback, might get Damian Martinez. I don't know. If Spartans get Damian Martinez, all I got to say is thank you. Gophers don't have to play Sparty this year. Anthony Carlson gifted 10 memberships to Holy Smokes. Holy Smokes. You are hereby knighted cloak and dagger once again, Anthony Carlson. Thank you so much for your incredible generosity. Unbelievable. Marquis Crenshaw, John Dry, Chris Jennings, P. Digits, Bob Swanger, John Menser, Atwan Codes, FSU 11, Benjamin Griffin, Stephen Clark. You have all been gifted a membership by Mr. Anthony Carlson. Please give Anthony Carlson a thank you. You are all hereby cloak and dagger knighted. Holy smokes. You're all members of our YouTube community, our college football community. You can go to our YouTube channel, College Football is Peek Around the Corner. Watch the membership-only episodes, Cloak and Dagger episodes. They're going to be dropping early this week once again. If you don't know what they are, for people who want to become a member, go to the link provided in the description box. Hit the link, then hit the join button. Cloak and Dagger early peek episodes. We drop just a little bit of Cloak and Dagger info, and then we cover it live on the next show. Become a member. Thank you, Mr. Anthony Carlson. I do appreciate your incredible generosity to this channel. Thank you so very much. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Now, look, I want to, we're going to get back into what we just went through. We're going to go through it again. Am I going a little bit more detail than most people are interested? Yes. But that's what we kind of do here. We kind of dig, poke and prod, get you the information before anybody else, get you a little peek around the corner and what to expect. That's what we do here at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, right? That's what we do. So when this hits tomorrow, and it's going to hit tomorrow, by the order of the judge, it's going to come. It's going to drop in the Mecklenburg County website. We're going to have it at Peek Around the Corner. We're going to pop it up. We're going to go through it live together. Is there going to be anything major dropping in there? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why any of this was redacted anyways. I can understand some of it might be, I don't know. But you know what? Before we go back into that, I came home from my vacation, popping around on my X account, and I see a certain lawyer out there block me. A lawyer that I've never talked to, never had a conversation with, on X with direct messages, on this channel, nothing. And I find out he blocks me. Okay, a lot of people block me. But it's usually after I get them upset on something. Right? Because look, this show is not for everybody. Right? It isn't. I mean, I can give you so many examples. The Michigan Wolverines. I thought Tony Petitti did the right thing. A whole bunch of Michigan fans got upset at me. But I believe that Michigan should have gotten the playoffs, should have been able to go to the playoffs. I think they were the best team. Once they got to the playoffs, I predicted them to win. I got a whole bunch of people upset with me on the other side. During the Pac-12, when I said since February 24th, 2023 to when it happened on July 27th, 2027, July 27, 2023, all those months I said at the sports book, the Big 12 was favored to poach the Pac-12. I got a whole bunch of Oregon State and Washington State fans upset with me. I get it. But I had to shoot it to everybody straight. I got a whole army upset with me on X. People accusing me of being part of some coordinated conspiracy with that one consulting outfit. It was bizarre. It was absolutely bizarre. But then, when I during the Pac-2 versus the Pac-10 case, I said, I think Oregon State, Washington State have a very, very, very good case. I think they're going to win the majority of what they're arguing for. And they did. And then I got some of the Pac-10, the older Pac, the schools that are leaving, I got some of those fans mad at me. When I predicted the Gophers going 6-6, I got a whole bunch of, I got raked over the coals on Gopher message boards. They went 5-7. They did win a bowl game. But anyways, so I'm getting everybody upset with me all the time. I understand why people block me. I get it. I get it because this YouTube channel isn't rah, rah, rah Big Ten or rah, rah, rah SEC or rah, rah, rah Big 12 or rah, rah, rah ACC. It isn't. It's not even rah, rah, rah Minnesota, even though you guys know I love my Golden Gophers. The channels that do that are great. I love watching them. I love watching them. I love watching Coach Coop, the Miami Hurricanes YouTube channel. I love the West Virginia Mountaineers YouTube channel. Nobody does it better than Justin Coos. I love watching, there's a Clemson YouTube channel out there. He's got a different style. Whoops, excuse me. I love those channels. But we are a national college football YouTube channel, and I'm getting people upset with me all the time. That's how we work here. But I rarely ever see anybody block me when I haven't even said anything to them. He's a lawyer. He blocked me. And in fact, about a week ago, I just got done telling somebody in the PATC community that I enjoy reading that guy and I should be posting what that lawyer is saying. And then suddenly he blocks me. And now I got people telling me he blocked me. He blocked me because he's going against the Big 12 insider Christopher Lambert. And I went through Christopher Lambert's tweets on the live show, a couple live shows ago. Well, if that's the case, that's got to be the dumbest reason for somebody to block me. Me and Christopher Lambert we're at each other for a decade. That's why you're blocking me, because I went through a thread of Christopher Lambert and you didn't like what Christopher Lambert said? Now, I give flowers to the dude of West Virginia because at least he put it out in detail what some people are thinking, a possible scenario for ESPN to play the velvet hand. Throughout my show, I said, yeah, I don't really think that would work. That's a big hurdle. This is a bigger. I wasn't sponsoring this. I wasn't totally ripping it. We were just talking about it. If that's enough for somebody to block me, again, we're not for everybody here at Peek Around the Corner. I often talk about things that I don't believe there's even a smidgen of a chance of it happening. Remember, I talked about the 8 votes, the dissolution theory, and I let you all know that everybody who's been telling me says it ain't happening. But we still brought it up. We still discussed it. You called. We talked about it. We had fun. A lot of people had a lot of good arguments why it could still happen. And then the Super League theory. You all know that I didn't think the Super League theory had a noodle of a chance of happening in 2026. But I let it happen. Discussion, great time, a lot of great arguments on why it could happen in 2026. I did not believe it for a nanosecond. And it's not going to happen in 2026. But we talk about things that I don't believe. I'm not going to be stuck in a silo. Just not going to do it. We talk about things here on every angle. I give you the information I've received, and then at times when I don't have any information, I give you what I believe. With the caveat that I can change my mind on a great argument from you, the PATC community. But if it's enough to where I go through somebody's X account and go through, they lay it out in detail, and if that's enough for you to block me, yeah, this show ain't for you. This show definitely is not for you. Anyways, okay, so yeah. Anyways, so let's go through. I'm gonna go through it quickly, one more time, and then I'm gonna open up the phone lines. You can talk about what do you expect? What do you expect when the ACC has to drop these parts of the agreement, these unredacted parts of the agreement tomorrow, April 15th? You can talk about the spring football game that your team just went through or is going to go through next week. You can talk about portal mania. Tuesday, April 16th, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be absolutely chaos. Keandre Lambert-Smith, the wide receiver of the Nittany Lions, going in the portal. Damian Martinez, the Oregon State running back, going in the portal. Some Buckeye quarterback, Kleinholtz, probably, maybe, I don't know. Going to Iowa? I don't know. Somebody's got to go in the portal out of the Buckeye quarterback room. Probably some quarterback out of the Michigan going into the portal. There's a whole bunch of crazy stuff that's going to happen starting April 16th, and we're going to cover it all. But before we get to your phone calls, and I promise we will, let's just go through this one more time. Please, everybody, be patient with me. One more time. Let's go through it. These redacted parts has to be shown in public view starting tomorrow. In fact, we're going to skip the first few pages because they mainly have to do with the old multimedia agreement in 2014. So let's just get to the last few. Okay, this one also does the 2014. Following the ACC's acceptance of Florida State's grant of rights in 2013 in the implementation of the Second Amendment to the 2010 Multimedia Agreement in 2014, Florida State received its pro rata share of the blank payments from ESPN, totaling blank of dollars. At no point, this is ACC's argument, they're filing, at no point did Florida State reject the distributions it received or contest the legality of the grant of rights it executed that made the Second Amendment to the 2010 Multimedia Agreement possible. Okay, the last two are the big ones. 78, line 78. What is redacted here is going to be in public view starting tomorrow at some point. As part of these agreements, ESPN agreed to extend and increase the blank until the establishment and launch of the ACC network, which ultimately took place in 2019. On July 21st, 2016, the parties executed an amended and restated ACC-ESPN multimedia agreement and the ACC's ESPN network agreement. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments, media rights payments, and revenues from the ACC network. So we're going to find out how much the ACC received in this media agreement from ESPN and how much it distributed to its members in the form of media rights agreements and revenues from the ACC network, which was newly created, and blank. Some type of payment that the ACC did not want you to know what it was. Okay, and then one more. Again, what is redacted is what we're going to find out tomorrow. Under the grant of rights, the amended grant of rights, and the ESPN agreements, Florida State Athletics experiences unprecedented success, according to the ACC filing. Since the execution of the amended grant of rights, the entry into the 2016 multimedia agreement, and extension of the option, the establishment of the ACC network, and the payment of blank by ESPN, Florida State has received more than blank, and the ACC as a whole has received more than blank. Now, this is pure speculation on my part. 100% speculation, and then we're going to open up the phone lines. When I read this, and I'm starting to wonder if, since the execution of the amended grant of rights, the entry into the 2016 multimedia agreement, and extension of the option. What option are they talking about? Are they talking about the option for ESPN to walk away from the deal? If that is what they're talking about, then when you read the next line, the establishment of the ACC network and the payment of blank by ESPN, Florida State has received more than blank. The ACC as a whole has received more than blank. If you go back and the payment of a blank by ESPN, if you go back, bear with me here. If you go back and read this, nope, that's not what I wanted to show you. Here. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will see blank to distribute to its members in the form of a blank payments, media rights payment, and revenue. I'm wondering if Florida State and the ACC schools got consideration. I wonder if this is speculation. 100% speculation. But I'm wondering if Florida State and the ACC schools did not get a one-time payment. One-time payment. A one-time payment for ESPN to be able to extend that option. Do you see what I'm saying? It's 100% speculation zone. This is we've been through this a couple of times. We're going to learn more tomorrow. But did Florida State and the ACC schools get a one-time payment that's their consideration for ESPN to move that deadline from 2021 to February 1st, 2025? And if they did, 100% speculation. I cannot read what's behind that black marked out blackness, okay? But if Florida State and the ACC schools did get consideration, a one-time payment from ESPN, for ESPN to extend that deadline, and if they received that one-time payment and the deadline was moved from 21 to 25, how could have all that been done without a vote? I mean, getting money in return of that, if that's what actually happened, that really makes it to where, did they have a vote on that? Did they vote that that was enough money? I don't know. But there is some type of payment. So most of the redaction is how much money did Florida State and the ACC schools get. But there's also another redaction in this that is saying what type of payment. It's not a media agreement payment, not an ACC network payment. There's another payment that's being redacted. Is it a one-time payment? Or some consideration payment? Delaying of the option, ESPN option payment? Right here. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive so much money to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments, media rights payments, revenues from ACC network. They did not redact the media rights payment section. Obviously, what the ACC gets in media rights payments, they distribute to the schools. Right? That's real obvious. From the ACC network. Yes, real obvious. The creation of the ACC network, these schools were probably promised some sort of, I don't know how much they were promised, but they were going to get revenues from the ACC network. But why is this redacted? Why is the first form of payment redacted? I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with something, guys. Is it a one-time payment? Or payments that you get to keep pushing out the deadline option for ESPN? I don't know, guys. I'm but we're going to find out tomorrow. And that's why we're doing the show tonight. To set the table. So we're all on the same, we're not all going to be on the same page, but at least we're fleshing this out. So we'll get an answer tomorrow. We don't have to spend all day tomorrow trying to figure out what we're just reading. Rock and Rant, that is genetics, Finsta handle, probably not. But anyways, thank you, Rock and Rant. I do appreciate your generosity, Mr. Hurricane. I know you and other Hurricanes are real excited. Real excited about what you saw from Cam Ward yesterday. My question is Miami going to get a running back in the portal? Since you don't have Henry Parrish. Where's Henry Parrish going again? Can somebody tell me in the chat? Where is Henry Parrish going to end up? Because I like Henry Parrish. RFR Mac, thank you for doing such a great job day after day. Thank you, Mr. Utes. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate you coming on in. Thank you. Carrie, goal knows, don't ever let them see you sweat, Greg. You got that right, Carrie. I appreciate your incredible generosity to this channel. Time after time after time. Thank you, Carrie, for letting us keep the lights on here in this studio. Appreciate it, sir. The Evil Badger. Ryan Willie. Wisconsin signed an agreement with Marshall to play in 2028. The Super League is not happening. Well, if it happens, it's going to happen beyond 2031. Ryan Willie. Nick Evers, quarterback, going in the portal. He was a guy that went to Florida. Man, I loved his high school tape. I love his high school tape, but it looks like he cannot stick anywhere. He can't even get any playing time. Evers is in the portal. Is Nick his first name? Am I getting that wrong? I know it's Evers, and I know he went to Florida. I loved his high school tape. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. I do appreciate it so very much. So let me open up the phone lines. You guys can tell me how crazy I am. My conspiracy mind is a fluttering. The line is open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. Thank you all joining me on this Masters Sunday. Did Scheffler win? Let me know in the chat. Thank you for coming on in. Tomorrow, April 15th. Look, this is the title of the show. Look, April 15th. April 15th, tomorrow, Mecklenburg County. That redacted part that we all looked at tonight, we're going to be able to see it tomorrow. And you know what I'm going to be looking at. You know what I'm going to be looking at. April 16th, chaos. The portal is open. We're all going to lose some players we don't want to lose. And we're all going to get a player maybe we're going to get that's going to put a smile on our face. April 15th, Mecklenburg County. April 16th, chaos, the transfer portal. April 22nd. April 22nd, Leon County Part 2. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. April 9th, we did a 7.5-hour live show. Well, we're going to do the same thing on April 22nd. 8 days from now. 8 days from now, April 22nd, PATC breakfast. Join us. Join us as we're going to have a live feed inside the courtroom. Judge C. Cooper. Judge C. Cooper. So watch with us. Put down your comments and thoughts as we're watching it together. Part 2. And I'm not even gonna speculate on what's gonna happen, because the first part 1 in April 9th, it was not supposed to last longer than 90 minutes. It did. We got a ruling on April 9th. It all went Florida State's way. What's going to happen on April 22nd? The phone line is open. 763-260-1333. Jackson Howard. Jackson Howard. Robbinsdale Cooper. My alma mater. That's where I went to high school. Jackson Howard, big time defense, a rush end. He has to play the rush end position. LSU liked him. LSU liked him. He played 5 games last year. He did real good in the bowl game. Had a sack. He's in the portal. Is he coming back home? Come back home, Mr. Howard. Come back home.
Call from
Immaculate.
Immaculate, Mr. Hawkeye. The floor is yours. So, Hawkeyes, what are you going to do for a quarterback? Quarterback number 2. Are you going to get Kleinholz? Are you going to get somebody else? What's going to happen? What's going to happen?
I don't know. I mean, Cade's supposed to be coming back, and
Sure.
the kid who played one quarter of the season last year, he looked, I don't know if I'd even go so far to say promising, but something that you'd want to see more of. Unfortunately, they only let him play one quarter at the end of the bowl and not anytime earlier, because all I really care about quarterback is that Deacon Hill doesn't ever have the ball in his hand again. That's pretty much it. It seems like that kid's coming just because there hasn't been anyone that's come out and said, no, that's not true. There's been a lot of smoke and a lot of talk and a lot of Iowa City media talking about it. So I think that one's pretty much happening unless someone else, comes in with the last minute offer, and that's entirely possible. I mean, yeah, Iowa's got a new offensive coordinator.
Yep.
But you still don't quite know what you're getting into when you go there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So someone else could maybe come along and steal them last minute. We'll see. That's why I'm not putting my eggs in that basket yet. But we shall see. It's going to be a pretty wild day tomorrow. I know
all the leaks will happen tomorrow. Things will start officially happening April 16th, Tuesday.
Yeah. But there'll be some big talk tomorrow. I'm cautiously optimistic about the whole Florida State thing. I know the situation with this redaction coming up is kind of a big deal, but at the same time, like you're even wondering what are the point of these even being redacted. They kind of seem like they were redacted just to be redacted, and just like they just block stuff to block stuff, and then when they get ordered to show it, they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. We're cooperative with the court. We'll unredact the stuff that we really didn't care if you found out about in the first place anyways. So, gain some favor with the court or whatever. We'll see how that goes. To me, the bigger thing is ESPN has to be worried about the way things went down in Florida.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, before then, everyone was saying, oh, well, it has to go to North Carolina, the court. I mean, Florida, the court's going to have to give it up, and I think that's what they were counting on. I think that's what a lot of people were expecting, myself included. So not only did that not happen, but the judge very much went in the opposite direction, and he even ruled same day, which does that start to bring them ahead of the North Carolina courts? I don't know. And then Florida State, they appealed to the North Carolina Supreme Court already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if they can go forward in North Carolina. They might have pulled the proceedings in Florida ahead, if that makes any sense.
Well, went North Carolina? Well, I'm sorry. Wouldn't the ACC just appeal anything that happens out of Leon County?
Do they want it to go to the Florida State Supreme Court?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not.
Good question.
I
don't know.
It's not quite the same thing. Whereas I don't think Florida State really cares if it's in this court or that court in North Carolina. But if they send it to the Florida State Supreme Court and they come up with a quick judgment, that's that. That's a wrap. I mean, if you're going to appeal that, you're going to the SCOTUS.
Yeah.
So it's just, and the only reason why I think that they were able to appeal to the state Supreme Court is because the state Supreme Court of North Carolina directly handed this case to that court, right? So they kind of took jurisdiction of it. If I could be wrong on that, but it's not like Florida State. They filed in this court with this judge. I mean, that's just its natural location. Whereas the one in North Carolina, the North Carolina Supreme Court got involved and took it and directly handed it from where it was filed to this business court and this judge. So maybe that's why then they're able to make that. I don't know. But to me, the situation in Florida has to be way more worrying to ESPN. Like you were saying, they got most of their motion to seal agreed upon in North Carolina, so that's just not a big deal. This is stuff. I mean, it's interesting, but the real threat's Florida. I don't know how you feel on that, but when you're saying
Leon
County in 8 days, to me that's the day right there. Like I think that's the timeline. Like, is ESPN going to do something between now and then? What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm going to be caught saying this one of these times, but I think it's
Yeah.
I think it's too early. I think it's too early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big one. I just didn't. You know how I am
Oh,
immaculate.
it still matters.
I got. I
It still
gotta.
matters to us.
Yeah, I gotta dig in on whatever happens tomorrow. There might be something embarrassing, something. But yeah, the big ones in Leon County, and I think the judge is a big wild card in this. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. I mean, he might just say, "Hey, come on, guys." How many more times is he going to say the word mediation, negotiation on April 22nd? I don't know. I think he's trying to give somebody a big hint over there that I'm probably going to rule against you guys. So mediate, do something. But
yeah. And there's been some people who thought that he might order mediation, but I don't think so, because that would slow down the process.
Yeah.
And right now, it doesn't seem like slowing down the process is what he's all about. I mean, that was ruling from the bench. That's on something like it essentially. I think it might have put Florida State ahead. You know, when we were first talking about this, it was all about first to file. Well, that's out the window. That doesn't matter anymore. First to file is old news. Now, to me, it feels like a race. It's a race. Who's going to come up with their judgments first? And that's why that appeal, in my opinion, which was done on the exact same day as the Florida State case that was going on, to me, that might hold up the North Carolina case. Because now just the motions have been appealed. I don't know if they can go past that. I don't know if they can go to the regular case. You have to ask the lawyer about that. That's a procedural thing. But that's an honest. I honestly believe that might hold up the process in North Carolina. And if the Florida State judge, he's warning them, mediate, come up with a settlement, do something now, because he signaled it. He ruled from the bench. He's going to push that forward quick. So you might get your full-on judgment out of Florida State before you get one out of North Carolina. And then what?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. And as far as that lawyer, real quick, I don't know who these people are that are on X, these lawyers, when their whole entire job, their whole entire purpose is to, argue points and positions. And I know exactly what you're talking about, because I had an issue with them. And it was you say one thing that's different from them, and all of a sudden you don't have a clue. You're nothing. Is that how you argue in court? Because that obviously he's not. I can't think that he's an actual court lawyer. And I've seen some guys go hard in the paint trying to defend this guy.
I've never had a conversation with them on Twitter or any place. I saw his name. I read a couple of things of his a few weeks ago. I mentioned to somebody in the PATC community. I actually praised the guy. I said, some of that stuff makes sense. I should probably bring up his side of things more often, whatever. But I've never brought him up on the show. I was about to, but I've never done anything with this guy. I've never said anything negative, positive, anything on the show, outside the show, other than one conversation, and it wasn't really negative. The only reason I know he blocked me because his name was in some other tweet, and I said, "Oh, I haven't checked out what this guy has said in a while." I hit his name, and it says you're blocked. And I'm like, geez, I don't know. I don't have anybody blocked. I have 0 people blocked, and I get raked over the coals every day. These high-profile lawyers blocks the fat guy from Minnesota, and I haven't had one conversation with him. So it's just bizarre.
I don't know. he said to me, like, he never felt stronger about any case ever in his entire 20-plus years of sport experience, and that the ACC has all the weight in this, and that Florida State's screwed. I'm like, dude, you make it really hard to take you seriously. Like, I mean, someone could think that the ACC's got a good spot because of the contract and all that, but to think that Florida State has absolutely nothing, that they would go to all this cost and all this measure and all this effort and all this risk without having anything at all, nothing, like, I'm sorry, but like, what kind of lawyer talks like that and thinks like that and just completely, like, looks past the other side? To me, that's really bad strategy. So, yeah, I think he just wants people to agree with him, man. If you don't...
But I don't even necessarily... I mean, I guess I disagree with him to a point, but
if you see everything he said, you'd probably disagree.
Well, yeah, I do, but not like... look, I think the ACC has great arguments. I'm not pro FSU. I'm pro story. I want to follow the story. I want to...
Exactly.
And if you're not pro ACC every inch of the way, you're going to get blocked by this guy, which is too bad because, it's just too bad.
Well, he has a particular point, and here's my thing I try to get to people is, look, this whole concept, this idea of these grant of rights, they've never been challenged. They've always just been assumed because the way they're written up, it's pretty like, this is it. You signed it. It's good. You're golden. And then they try and act like there aren't entire professions of law that are about getting out of contracts. Like, contract law is a very big deal, and it happens, I don't want to say quite often, but often enough. So for them to think that you signed it, it's good, that's it, you're done, I'm like, you're not a lawyer then. If that's what you actually think, is that just because someone signs a contract, that's it, there's no way out of it, it's done. Like, I'm not a lawyer, but I look at them and say, I would never take your word on anything then, because that's like a big part of what your entire profession is about, is contract law and the fact that people fight to get out of them quite often. So we'll see. But I mean, if that's the worry, Florida State, if they win this, there's people who think that this would completely destroy the value of a gore, and what does that then cause to happen? And just an answer to someone in chat, yes, Chad Bracey is correct. That's all as far as the name. But yeah, I don't know. That's it on that, man. Just
all right.
I wouldn't worry about the guy. He's just very abrasive.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate it, Mr. Hawkeye. Talk to you tomorrow.
Later.
You got it. Yeah, I heard a lot about Haynes King. I heard a lot about Haynes King performance for Georgia Tech. They're excited. Rambling Wreck of Georgia Tech is excited for Haynes King. Yep. And I think Virginia Tech has a lot of reasons to be excited. And of course, you guys know how I feel about North Carolina State. I think they've got a lot to be excited. Going to be very interesting ACC this year. Kind of reminds me of the Pac-12 last year. In more ways than one. In more ways than one. Oh, boy. Anyways, the phone lines are open. 763-260-1333. If the gore is so solid, why the vault? Great question. Carrie Gold knows. Thank you for the super chat once again. Why the vault? And then you can extend that question. Why, if the ESPN Okay. All right. Okay. I'm going to hang up the phone for a second. Because I want to get to some. So I'll get to your phone calls in a little bit. I got to get this. I got it out of my system very late on the last live show. I want to get it out of my system once again. The gore is not a secret. Thank you, Justin Lucas. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's been out there for a while. It's the media agreements that hasn't been out there. The ACC-ESPN media agreement. I got to get this out of I got to get this off. I got to get this off my chest. I keep coming back to the same question. And by the way, Justin Lucas, thank you so much for all the help you've given me. I showed everybody the redacted stuff that hopefully will be unredacted by tomorrow. We went through that a couple of times. So thank you, Justin Lucas. Also, Mr. Lucas, you're probably not too happy with me because I'm very high on North Carolina State Wolfpack. Very, very high on Grayson McCall. I love Jordan Waters, the running back. You got your Raphael, the running back, coming back next year. I think Concepcion's going to have a lot of help. I think Just Jolly, the tight end, the transfer from UConn, is going to be unbelievable. Number 15, McCall to Jolly, I think is going to be something that is repeated over and over again by the announcers, North Carolina State. So I'm very high in North Carolina State, Justin Lucas. So that might be very bad news for North Carolina State, if you know what I'm talking about. Greg the Cooler. Anyways, let me get something off my chest. ESPN, at some point, I think there's a lot of great arguments for the ACC. I do. The grant of rights, I'm not a lawyer. That's all you know. But a lot of great arguments. Florida State signed that thing a few different times after kept it being extended. But there's one part of the argument that was dropped like a nuclear bomb on December 22nd from the Florida State Board of Trustees that I cannot dismiss. And that is this option for ESPN to walk away from the contract. The deadline was 2021. Now it's been moved to 2025. The option for them to be able to decline the distribution rights to the ACC from 2027 beyond. And I'm not even going to get into the machinations of whether Phillips had the legitimacy to extend that deadline. I don't even care about that. I care about the option to walk away. How can any school be tied to a grant of rights all the way to 2036 when ESPN can walk away in 2027? I know this question's been asked 1,000 times, but how? When you sit down and negotiate this type of deal, when you as a university give your media rights to a conference to negotiate, to give them the leverage for that conference to negotiate the best media deal they possibly can with potential media partners, you're giving them the ability. The media partner knows who's sitting across the table from you. Once they strike the deal, that media partner knows that all the schools are going to be in this, that the conference is going to have their rights to give the media company stability on the type of product that they're going to be distributing for the next so many years. But it goes both ways. So what I'm saying is this. When Florida State signed the deal, when Clemson signed the deal, when Wake Forest signed the deal, when Duke signed the deal, they were getting considerations back. They were told projections. Tier 1 and Tier 2, this is how much money you're going to make per year, elevator clause, whatever, but this is what it was going to be. This year, the next year, the next year, the next year, the next year, all the way up to 2036. And then when they created that ACC network, you were going to get some more Tier 3 money, TV revenue money, 4 or 5 million a year could go up. But the schools were signing for stability. Stability. They were signing to get that stability, right? But in return, look, the market, there has been an explosion. There has been an explosion in media rights value. So when the ACC signed that 20 years, from 2016 to 2036, they signed a bad deal. But, because ESPN could walk out after 2027, then that made it, no matter what, these schools signed a bad deal. No matter what, they signed a bad deal. Because what if there was a world war? What if we went into the Great Depression? Another Great Depression. What if the media rights bubble not only popped, but just imploded on itself? ESPN would be on the hook to pay that money out, 30 million whatever out, Tier 1, Tier 2, to these schools until 2036. But they can walk away after 2027. So none of these ACC schools got the benefit of either way of a media market exploding, bad deal. Exploding, in other words, getting better. Media rights exploding upward, bad deal. Exploding downward, bad deal. It's a bad deal no matter what, because ESPN had the option to walk away. Now, you might say, well, great. They knew that when they signed the papers. I get back to this. They knew that. They knew that, but the deadline was supposed to be 2021. And now it got bumped to 2025. Every time you extend that, it's a better and a better and a better and a better deal for ESPN. Is any of these schools getting any consideration back on every time you extend the deadline? That's what I want to know, if one of those redacted parts, if that gets explained in one of those redacted parts that is going to open up tomorrow. For me, just me. Because ESPN has an option to walk away and the deadline got moved without a vote happening to give the commissioner, that is the part where, to me, the ACC's, I think, very powerful argument falters. And I think that means the Gore payout can get smaller for Florida State and for Clemson and for North Carolina. I think the option of ESPN walking away, I think that's their trade secret. Because the deal suddenly, no matter what, is not good for the schools that they're signing with ESPN. That is my take on it. I'm going to open up the phone lines above all else. I'm not into this. I'm not into this And I get a lot of smart people are saying things about how Florida State can get out this way, that way, this way, that way. And I'm just not a believer in any of those theories at this point. But what I am big on is ESPN being able to walk away in 2025. They were able to walk away in 2021. That to me is the weakness of the. That to me is the weakness, is the Achilles heel in getting anybody, in getting Florida State or anybody to pay Gore payouts for a settlement in negotiations that pay all the way to 2036 when you're not even guaranteed to 2036. That's the weakness. That's the weakness. The number is back open. 763-260-1333. Let me know how I got it all wrong. Once again, 763-260-1333.
Call from
JD.
JD, Mr. Seminole, the floor is yours.
Well, Brother Greg, it sounds like you're becoming a member of our congregation slowly but surely. You're kind of getting in a little bit more into our line of thinking.
Nope, I don't think I am. I don't think I am. I'm an island unto my own, my friend. I'm big enough to be my own island. In fact, when I was in the pool at my vacation, I was an island in the stream, baby. Island in the stream. No, I don't. I'm not buying into what is being sold on War Chant, even though they're all, I'm sure, really good guys, really smart. Not buying into all that. But I am buying this, being able to walk away in 2025, 27. Come on, man. You cannot have universities pay for a Gore that's not even cemented all the way to 2036. There's no way. There's no way, in my opinion.
Well, let's rename that 2021 option, okay? Let's not call it an option. Let's call it a look-in. Is that fair enough?
No.
So it was network.
I'm not, and that's another thing. I'm sorry, JD. I'm sorry. I don't. This is how I get everybody mad at me. I don't think it's a look-in. A look-in is where both parties look in.
Well,
that's not.
I
this
know
is an
that,
option for ESPN to walk
ACC,
away. For them to walk away. That's what that is.
Well,
ACC
what I'm saying is in 2021, there are people that are suggesting that the ACC expected to get a bump from ESPN in that 2021 option. It was kind of phrased as a look-in. Now, if that's the case, that the ACC expected to get a bump and didn't get the bump, and supposedly the ACC was being told that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh no. Okay. Let me. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. We went through number 7, 8. I wouldn't call it. Now, JD, this is speculation on my part. Okay, so I could be flat out wrong here. I'm probably am. Okay.
Sure.
I'm probably am. But on 7, 8, this is what's redacted now. That is going to be unredacted tomorrow. We're going to be able to see what's behind the black mark. Okay. In the last line of it, it says, throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments, media rights payments, and revenues from ACC Network. For whatever reason, the first type of payment is redacted. Media rights or payments, obviously. Revenues from ACC Network, obviously. But the first form of payment is redacted. We're going to find out what that is. My pure speculation, 100% speculation, Nobody has told me jack on this. I'm probably going to be 100% wrong, but it could be that what I would call not so much a bump, what I would call considerations for letting ESPN extend the deadline. So you did get some money to give ESPN says, we want to extend the deadline from 21 to 25 in trying to figure out if we're going to keep distributing your content to beyond 2027. And for us to extend that deadline, we're going to give you guys all this much one-time payment of whatever. Right?
Oh, I understand.
That could be what happened. And if that's what happened, JT, and if Florida State did not vote on it, yes or no, I think that helps Florida State's argument, and that's why I think maybe that was redacted. But again, I could be all wrong. Go ahead. I apologize. Floor is yours for as long as you want.
No, you're good. You're good. You're not getting a lot of hints, and because this is a legal case, it might not necessarily be as in other previous events coming. So we might not get a lot of a heads up. It could be just some of these were the numbers that the ACC didn't necessarily want out there, but it might not be anything malicious. You follow me?
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, you might find out the ACC is keeping a lot of money for quote-unquote administrative fees, and where is all that going? But there's been all kinds of accusations of fraud, but I think it's mostly on Tier 3 money versus Tier 1, Tier 2. Mm-hmm. So, again, I don't even know. I hear the accusations, and those, they haven't lessened, but I just don't know, where that money would be coming from, either Tier 1, 2, or 3. So either ESPN or Raycom, and how that would be distributed. I'm not even getting into that. Mm-hmm. But I think it is important. I think it is important. Go ahead.
JD, Daniel did a super chat just now. Says, Greg, I think the ACC is trying to hide the Raycom deal. So maybe that's Raycom. Maybe that was redacted. We're going to find out tomorrow. The
Raycom deal.
I just wanted to thank you, Daniel, for your super chat. I just want to throw that in the JD because that's what Daniel just mentioned in the chat. Thank you, Daniel. Go ahead, JD.
Well, yes. To talk briefly about the Raycom, then I can go back to my original point.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. For the amount of money the schools get, and for the amount of money that Raycom pays ESPN per year, there's a lot of money unaccounted for. For a network, for a company that doesn't even broadcast games anymore, there's a lot of unaccounted for money, especially in the infancy of the deal. It's harder now at this stage of the game when you have so many parties involved, but at the infancy of the deal, there was a lot of money, and they weren't paying much out to the conference, at all. So that's where a lot of, from what I understand, that's where a lot of the rumors come from, on those early stages when Swofford had his hands. I mean, Swofford's son, daughter-in-law, and wife all worked at Raycom. Plus, there was a lot of other rumors of just a lot of sketchy stuff. But I'm going to get off of that. Going back to what you were saying, I think it is important to figure out whether or not, was it an option to extend or was it a look-in, okay? Because if it was a look-in, okay, and then the conference did receive some consideration going to 2025, okay, that means in what you were referring to, if the members didn't vote for that in 2021, then technically they could say in court, technically the grant of rights stopped in 2021. That I'm not saying that's the case, but it's an argument.
Or 2027, because that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
2027 piece was in there when they signed it in 2013.
Yes, sir.
But I
So-
get it. I get it. That is something we're going to have to look at tomorrow when they unredact those the redactions, whatever that word is. When you unredact something, I don't know what that word is, but when we see it tomorrow, maybe we can make more sense of it all. But go ahead, sir.
No. That's fine. I mean, it's I think that's part of the things that they really want to hide, and I see that when you're talking about the grant of rights, you and I are closer and closer on the same page. They can't just unilaterally extend something to a time period where it's not being covered by a contract. And things that maybe I was talking about, in months past didn't make sense. Now that more information is available to everyone's getting the idea, okay, this is why. And I don't know, I'm really looking forward to, the next 2 or 3 weeks, though. I don't know. Some of the insiders suggest that the court case resolution isn't necessarily what's needed to leave the conference, and I don't know. I'm going to let it all play out. I figure we're going to know the answer in short order anyway. In short order, it could be 18 months. I don't know, but it's like theater, and it's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah,
but
and this week we got tomorrow. We got obviously what we've been talking about. Mecklenburg County Judge Bledsoe ruled that ACC has to open up in public view some redacted parts. We've been through that a few times. So people who just join us, go back to the start of our live show. You can see what parts that we're now going to be able to see tomorrow. Then April 16th, officially the portal opens, the transfer portal. We're going to be hearing a lot of rumors tomorrow. Then April 16th it becomes official. Then April 22nd, Leon County Part 2, Judge C. Cooper. We're going to be carrying it live here at Peek Around the Corner when it starts. It's going to be fascinating. I don't think there's much that is on the docket for him to rule on, but he's going to make some. Judge Cooper's going to make probably a bunch of comments off the cuff that are going to have a whole lot of meaning, I think, going forward.
Oh, I think they're supposed to cover some of those allegations, those really quote unquote salacious allegations in that hearing.
Okay.
Obviously, it's not. They're not going to go into every specific detail, but I'm curious if they have some witnesses. If they have all these allegations, they have to already have some kind of proof. And there's been a couple of people that have said that former associates of Raycom or people that used to work. It could be that they have people that were involved back years ago have come forward and started talking. So that was in the Florida case. I'm kind of curious. I don't know that all that gets brought out in the hearing, but maybe some of that's entered into evidence. Maybe to help push a settlement even quicker. But I'm really looking forward to it. But April 20th is a big day too. That's the FSU spring game.
Ah, yes.
So you forgot about that.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right, sir. I appreciate it.
Have a great night. I wasn't going to call in, but when you were talking, and I was thinking about the 2021, and I remembered the conversation I was having with somebody else on whether or not it was a look-in or an actual option to extend, and there's a big difference between the two.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Have a great night, sir.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great call, Mr. Seminole. Again, Daniel, thank you for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Greg, I think the ACC is trying to hide the Raycom deal. We shall see. We shall see. Now, if you're new to the channel,
Call from
Steve.
Steve, can you hold on 1 second, sir?
Sure.
I do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Open up your notifications because we can come on live at any time, and smash that like button if you liked our content tonight. I appreciate it. Steve, the floor is yours.
Greg, is there anything that comes out tomorrow with this information that could work against Florida State?
I would, I guess there is, but then again, you would ask, why did they have it redacted? If it would go, if there was something that popped, I suppose the answer is yes, but I think there may be, again, the reason why we're covering it tonight, first of all, just to give everybody a, so everybody kind of understands a little bit more about tomorrow. But there could be something embarrassing in there about the ACC. That's why they redacted it. But I guess there's a chance. Yes, Steve. I won't totally rule it out.
Do you think when it comes back to Leon County that we've got, how long, a couple weeks before that or whatever, that there'll be some proverbial whistleblowers that from companies, i.e. Raycon, that were in the know and maybe leak some information that maybe is not out there yet?
I don't know. I really haven't thought about whistleblowers in the whole Raycon situation. If there are, right, wouldn't that probably be part of discovery? And I don't think we'd be hearing about it too much out in public right now. But yeah, I suppose that could be part of it. Again, I don't think we'll be hearing about it. Would we? Or
somebody could go public who hasn't been,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that out there,
Yep.
Greg, a little bit.
Yep.
Conspiracy theory or
Yep.
whatever. I guess the whole thing that intrigues me is, why did ESPN, if it's true, why did ESPN and ACC keep so many things secret from all the ACC members or some of the ACC members? I mean, what was their purpose for doing that?
Well, the ACC schools have all seen what's okay. So the ACC schools have all seen the grant of rights, and they've seen the ACC media rights agreement. What they couldn't do is take copies of the ACC media agreements. What they really couldn't even do, where they're pushed against, was they really couldn't even take notes on what they saw in the ACC media agreements. But they do know basically what's in those. They just can't take it home. Their media agreements can't be out for public view. What's being unredacted, or whatever the correct word is, whatever we see tomorrow, Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina knows what is behind that black mark. But, it comes down to leverage. There might be some embarrassing things in there, but the judge knows what's behind those black marks are already. But the trade secrets are being kept secret for now. But everybody knows what's in there except for us, the public, and ESPN's competition and Big Ten, but the ACC schools know what's there.
Were there or were there not votes taken though, where some or all the ACC members didn't realize what the heck was going on? You see what I'm saying, Greg?
Votes for the grant of rights.
Yeah, or the media agreement, or whatever.
I think they knew what was. I don't. I think they all knew what was going on. Florida State was the last school to vote here in 2016. ACC had to twist their arm. I think they all knew what was there when they signed it. But again, that's why that's just me, Steve. For me, that's the strongest argument that the ACC can make. Everybody knew what they were signing. But for me, the strongest part for the case for Florida State and Clemson and North Carolina is that whole thing where ESPN can walk out after 2027. So I don't think those schools should be able to pay grant of rights damages beyond 2027. That's just my take.
Yeah, me too, and I know absolutely nothing about it. That's why I haven't called him for so long. But I mean, if you're all of a sudden popping this up that, hey, everything's till 2036, and now you're saying, oh no, we got it out in 27.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an ACC member, I don't care who you are, you got to look around and say, what just happened here? So I don't know. I just think we're going to find a lot of things. We're going to find more things out. We're going to find some things out tomorrow, but we're going to find a lot more things out.
Yep.
When this thing gets back to Leon County. So have to wait and see. So, by the way, the Bearcats had their spring game yesterday.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Sorsby looked pretty good. It was pretty controlled, Greg.
Yeah.
It was as controlled a spring game as I've seen in a while.
Okay.
I mean, Kiner, the running back who had 1,000 yards last year, he had the offensive line were two of the bright spots last year.
Got it.
He didn't even suit up.
Yeah.
Satterfield said he's going to take enough of beating. But prior, the running back that came over from Ohio State in the transfer, he looked really good. He looked really good.
Good.
Defense, I think we got a ways to go. I think they'll probably address that in the portal.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Beautiful.
Anyhow, Greg.
Thank you so much for calling, Steve. Mr. Bearcat.
Have a good night.
You too. Great call by Steve-O. I will say about the Gophers, they did not have a spring game, but they had one big practice, kind of a spring game, April 11th, Thursday. I left town April 12th. I will say this. The Gophers passing game, which has always been, except for 2019, has been one of the worst passing offenses in Power Conference football for many, many years. And I don't know if it's going to get any better this year. The wide receiver room, I don't think it's... we're going to need some guys to grow up real fast. It's just the wide receivers have struggled. Daniel Jackson, our wide receiver one, really good receiver. He's not in spring. He's dealing with surgery. He's going to be fine for August, but he's not playing. But the guys behind him, too many drop passes. I don't know, guys. What the biggest fear for my Gophers if some of these starters in the secondary go in the portal. I can't have any of them go in the portal. Not in the secondary. The D line's going to be good. The O line's going to be good. The quarterback, Max Brosmere, the Minnesota Golden Gophers offense is going to change somewhat. It's not going to be max protection anymore. They're going to dump it off to the tight ends, to the running backs. The wide receiver room is weak. The secondary, We can't have the injuries like we did last year, and we can't have anybody go in the portal like we had last year in spring. I don't know. The Gophers are... I don't know. I think we're going to have some issues. It's not going the way I was hoping, the passing game. So I'm just going to put that out there. Again, Florida man, was COVID a factor in extending the deadline to extend? Maybe. Did Florida State get any consideration for letting ESPN extend that? Did Florida State get a bag of cash? And did Florida State vote for that bag of cash? Was there a vote? I don't know. Is that what this is? Is that what this is? That's redacted. We're going to find out tomorrow. Throughout the duration of these agreements, the ACC will receive blank to distribute to its members in the form of blank payments, media rights payments, revenues from ACC Network. What was the first redacted part? Blank payments. One-time payments? Two-time payments? Form of a one-time pay. It says payments though. What is this? We're going to find that. We're going to find out tomorrow from Judge Bledsoe. The ruling that came down on April 5th. They have until the end of day, April 15th, the ACC. Now, Florida State knows what that says. Clemson knows what that says. ACC knows what that says. ESPN doesn't know what that says. But we don't know what that says. And we're going to find out tomorrow. We're going to find out if it's important or not. So tomorrow, but we're going to be waiting for that to hit. When it hits, we're going to be coming on live. So it's important. If you haven't done so yet, if you're new to the channel, it's important that you hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our channel and get your notifications on. Because I'm telling you, tomorrow morning, we could come on live at any time. I'm talking about 8 o'clock Eastern, 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern in the morning, noon, 5 in the afternoon, 11 o'clock at night. We've done it all. We could come on live at any time. There's going to be some breaking news tomorrow. At least one big breaking news tomorrow. And then we're going to talk more about college football, spring football, and everything that is going on in college football. So I want to thank everybody for the generous contributions, donations to our channel tonight. I appreciate it. Coming out of a 2-day trip with the wife, the little general, I was all excited to get back in the studio to talk college football, and I had a great time tonight. Hopefully Barnowski's staying. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I do not know what's happening. But anyways, I appreciate you all coming on in. Great chats, great phone calls. Thank you for the donations. So, until next time, which is going to be tomorrow at some point, subscribe, have your notifications on. Until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.